This is one of my favorite topics, primitive reflexes. They are how I started this journey into learning more about the brain and how we can change it. When I graduated, I was working in an outpatient peds clinic, which is why I went into OT. I was viewing patterns of my clients and trying my best to learn from experienced coworkers, mentors, and going to as many OT seminars as I could. I learned a lot about primitive reflexes. I was reading the Reflexes, Learning and Behavior by Sally Goddard like it was the OT Bible, and it is a phenomenal book. But I still did not feel confident in what I should be doing with my clients. What did the presence of primitive reflexes mean? I knew the goal was to integrate reflexes, but how? Should I be having my clients use the reflex patterns, or do I do opposite of the movement pattern to override it and integrate the reflex? How do I prioritize? And the biggest question of all, why does my client have primitive reflexes? I was doing all the reflex integration exercises with my clients, but I wasn't seeing a ton of progress. I was seeing some progress, but the standard scores for the most part stayed the same. My kiddos were still testing below average, and I saw some functional growth, but not as much as I had hoped. And I also observed most of these clients had visual motor deficits, poor posture, sensory integration dysfunction, ADHD, and many other things. So what was the correlation? When I started to collaborate with colleagues outside of my OT field, I was blown away by all the information out there. Here's what I've learned. 1, yes, primitive reflexes originate in the brainstem, our primitive region of the brain. A newborn operates primarily with the brainstem firing, hardwiring at birth to survive and develop. 2, it's not until an infant learns its environment and that it's safe, as well as the opportunities for belly time, visual tracking mom across the room, rolling, that it really starts to develop the cortex and for more volitional control over reflexive. 3, eventually over the course of the first year, the infants start to develop their frontal lobe. When you think of the brain as a pyramid, the frontal lobe is the top of the pyramid. Here is the plot twist. It's the frontal lobe that is responsible for turning off or integrating the primitive reflex. Our frontal lobe is our inhibitor. It stops impulses and primitive reactions. It keeps us all in check. Adults diagnosed with ADHD have positive primitive reflexes. It is a weak frontal lobe. This is why we can do an ATNR exercise after exercise for months and still have a positive ATNR. We must build the pyramid of the nervous system to allow for the frontal lobe to fire and take control of the brainstem. Keep watching our videos and check out our website, cnsitherapies.com.